Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD. And this week's show, we're going to cover football and plenty of basketball, so stick around. Welcome back for another edition of MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD. I'm Mike Finnerty. This week, I am not joined by Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee. He had to call in sick. We hope he gets well, but we do have a full show. Of course, it's going to begin with our NorCal Regional Finals for football. Folsom, they come up short, and Del Oro gets the big win. We'll big picture that Del Oro win. We're going to cover some MaxPreps stat leaders for this season in football, and we're going to update you a little bit on what's been going on in high school basketball. Then we'll wrap up the show, and next week when Joe is back, we'll recap the state finals. We'll bring you plenty more of that as well. We're going to big picture all of it, but let's get to the football highlights. We're going to start it off with Folsom playing host to Bellarmine for the Division I championship in NorCal. Let's go out to Folsom High School for the Division I AA NorCal Regional Championship, where the Folsom Bulldogs packed the house to take on the Bellarmine Bells of San Jose. Folsom 14-0 on the season, while the Bells came in at 12-1, and the Bells had the tall task of trying to end Folsom's 43-game home winning streak. Early in this one, it's Folsom quarterback Jake Jeffrey throwing a short to Trey Green. He's going to take it the rest of the way, 22 yards, to put Folsom on the board up first at 7-0. The rest of the first quarter was a battle where each defense shined. Folsom blocks his attempted field goal by Bellarmine to start the second quarter, and it wouldn't be until later in the second that Bellarmine would tie it at 7-all with a touchdown of its own. Then, this is where it happened. The Jeffrey pass to Roger Neal gets away, and it's tipped into the hands of Jacob Bergstrom. And on the very next play, quarterback Troy Martique throws it deep downfield to Kyle McCauley for their second touchdown of the night, putting Bellarmine up 14-7. Before the end of the first half, Folsom goes for a short field goal but misses, sending them to the third quarter down by a touchdown. Shortly into the third, Bellarmine scores again, making it 21-7, and things were looking good for the Bells until the fourth quarter. This is where things got going. Eric Davis, he's going to take a 99-yard kickoff return all the way, and that's going to tie the game at 28-all, and things starting to turn around for Folsom. A few plays later, Jeffrey hands it off to Trey Green, who takes it in for another touchdown, putting Folsom back in the lead at 35-28. But sadly, it didn't last. Bellarmine is able to score again to tie it, and a few plays later, with less than a minute to go, the ball is picked off by Vincent Fernandez, and he is going to take it to the Folsom 20-yard line, and there he goes. With 40 seconds left in this game, Bellarmine takes the lead again, another touchdown. It's 42-35 Bellarmine. Folsom makes it back down the field and is in touchdown range with 4 seconds left. Jeffrey tosses it up in the end zone to Ariel Nagata, but he can't connect. The ball bounces out, and the Bellarmine Bells win the game and advance this weekend's state championships at Sacramento State, while Jake Jeffrey, Jonah Williams, and the rest of the Folsom Bulldogs see their impressive winning streak come to an end. Well, congratulations to the Bellarmine Bells of San Jose. They get that impressive win over Folsom and now move on to the state finals this weekend at Sacramento State. As for Folsom, what a season it was for them. Another league title, another impressive run. Yes, you heard in the highlight, their 43-game home winning streak came to a conclusion with that loss. Their 30-game winning streak came to an end. But I'll tell you what, Folsom Bulldogs, they are a power now. They're going to be a power to come still, led by co-head coaches Chris Richardson and Troy Taylor. Jake Jeffrey, the quarterback, he does graduate, but they'll just keep replenishing there. And again, a great season for them. Can't win them all, and we expect them to be right back in that same spot next year. As for Del Oro, how about this season for the Golden Eagles? They start off 2-6. Things were looking good when I saw them lose to Rockland 28-3 at home, and they just put together some wins. They sneak in with that win over Granite Bay in Week 10. They get an impressive win over Whitney in the playoffs. And man, they just keep it going. The Del Oro Golden Eagles, they get the section championship, as you saw the week before. And here they are. Now, they move on to Sacramento State for the state championship. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. They are 4-0 at Sacramento State all section championship wins for the Golden Eagles there. They are going to play Camarillo, a 15-0 team. That is Friday at 4 p.m. at Sacramento State. And you got to think, third time could be a charm for the Del Oro Golden Eagles, led by head coach Casey Taylor. In their 2 previous visits to the state championship down in Carson, California, they were both off of CIF bids. This time they get in, and you got to like how they're playing. You got to like their chances. Quarterback Stone Smart, he has just been impressive in this run, as has guys like Dalton Gee, running back. Trey Udofi is back. He had an impressive performance against Liberty in that NorCal win. So it's a complete team effort. Kudos to the coaching staff for getting them ready. It's a coaching staff that has been there and done that. And I don't know much about Camarillo, but I gotta like Del Oro's chances as they get ready to get that, get over the hump and get that win. All right, we're going to talk some more football later in the show. And we're also going to bring you our Max Prep stats leader for the regular season. We're going to talk a little hoops, so stick around.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
All right, we are back. Max Prep Sacramento, powered by SMUD. We are talking high school football. A little later, we'll talk some high school basketball as well, get you updated there on what's been happening with some tournament championships that have been going on recently. All right, let's talk about some more NorCal football championships. Again, they're at Sacramento State this weekend. We're going to set the lineup for you a bit. As we talked about, Del Oro will take on Camarillo. That is Friday at 4 p.m., Sacramento State. Some other games to watch for. You've got another Friday p.m. showdown, 8 o'clock. Bellarmine going up against Mission Viejo. That is the D1 AA game. And on Saturday, you've got 3 games at Sacramento State. It's going to start off at 12 o'clock, and that is Clayton Valley Charter going up against Narbonne of Harbor City. That's your Southern California representative. The 4 o'clock game, it's going to be the small school open division game. Central Catholic, boy, they're back again, a powerhouse. They take on Marino of Southern California. And then the 8 o'clock game, it's the big one. It's the open division game. De La Salle going up against Centennial. This is the matchup everyone has wanted to see. De La Salle, the perennial power every year. It's going to be fun. So get out to Sacramento State, buy your ticket. 5 games, 2 days. You can't miss it. And again, in the following show, Joe and I will recap everything that took place, talk about some of the state champions, and put a wrap on the high school football season with that show. All right, let's get to our Max Preps leaders, our stat leaders, as of course it doesn't count Del Oro. They still have one more game left. But the passing category, you got to look at Jake Jeffrey. He led the area in yardage. What a season he had. He just picked up where Jake Browning left off. Jake Jeffrey, that is, 4,194 yards, 50 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 135.5. Boy, he was impressive. You talk about another quarterback in this area. He actually led the area in yards per game. That's Hunter Rodriguez of Whitney, 315 yards per game. We had a chance to see him in that loss to Del Oro. He was certainly impressive. It's his senior year, so he will move on. And then a quarterback that kind of did it all throughout the year, Ian Book of Oak Ridge. He going to Notre Dame. What a season he had. He was up there in all the stat categories, but the one that jumped out to me is only 5 interceptions on the season. And so he was certainly efficient. Obviously, he led his team to a great year. Let's talk about the running backs. And I think the one that everyone knows about is Ryan Robards of Elk Grove, possibly your Sacramento Bee Player of the Year. We'll see how that shakes out. Ryan had 2,894 yards rushing. He averaged 208 yards per game. And here's something that's going to jump out at you, 43 touchdowns. And we'll talk a little about some more. You'll hear about him and some other stat leaders as we move on. Isaiah Tennett, Highlands. Quarterback, but he's more like a running back. Watching from his highlights, you can see what he does. Just impressive. He had 2,238 yards rushing as a quarterback. That's 203 yards a game. And a gaudy 35 touchdowns. So we want to get that small school mention in there for him. You've got, let's talk scoring now. We're going to go back to a name we just talked about, Ryan Robards. He led the area with 324 points. That's through 50 touchdowns, 6 field goals, and 4 extra points. Another guy we mentioned, he was second in scoring, Isaiah Tennett. Highlands, 238 points. He was second again behind Ryan Robards. On the defensive side, you have Ethan Milner of Granite Bay, 161 tackles. Roger Neal of Folsom, you think running back for him, but he can do it all. He's on the defensive side as well. He had 160 tackles, one behind Milner. In the sacks category, you've got Andrew Carrera of McClatchy with 21 sacks. One behind him is Philip White of Bradshaw Christian with 20. Interceptions, a guy we're going to talk about probably next week after the state championship, Mason Hurst. He's a receiver. He's also a defensive back. He led the Sacramento area. Again, these are Sacramento area leaders. They are not section leaders. Mason Hurst, he had 8 interceptions. And then also another Del Oro guy. He led the area in field goals made. That is Brian Wilhide, who had 14. We'll see if he can add to his tally, his area lead when he gets done with the state championships. So those are just some of your leaders. We didn't go through all of them. Again, Del Oro still has to play. Some of those guys may have a chance to add to their stats and pad them just a bit as they take on Camarillo in the state championship. All right, we are just halfway through the show. We've talked a lot of football, but when we come back, we're going to have our Placer Title Company Insiders, get you some news and notes there. We're going to talk hoops. We'll have our Makuni trivia question and plenty more.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
All right, we are back. MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by SMUD, our good friends at SMUD, the Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. All right, it's that time in the show for our Makuni Sushi trivia question, football related, so here you go. All right, 5 teams from our area have made it to the state championships in football since 2008. So here's the question. I want you to name the 5 teams that have made it, the 5 schools, and which of those teams has had the most appearances, and which of those teams has had the most wins, state championship wins for football. In our next segment, we'll give you the answer to those questions. All right, we're going to get to a little bit of news and notes in our Placer Title Company Insiders. Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. All right, this week's Placer Title Company Insiders, we're going to do a little basketball update and one news and note before we get going. Keani Stallworth of Cosumnes Oaks, your terrific defensive back for the Wolfpack, well, he recently committed to the San Jose Spartans. So congratulations to Keani, terrific, outstanding athlete there, and another Wolfpack moves on to Division I college football. All right, let's talk some high school basketball. Lots of tournaments going on right now. How about the Gridley Invitational, where the Sacramento Dragons get an impressive win. They, as a matter of fact, they improved to 6-0 on the season. They get a 73-53 win over St. Francis. Christian Terrell, he led the way with 19 points in that championship game, and Solomon Young, he had 17. Continuing right along, you got the Folsom Vista Classic. Folsom, the host, gets a win over Sacramento Country Day. That was a 76-35 win. Jordan Ford, he had 22 points there. The Titan Holiday Classic, Wood Creek gets a nice win over Antelope, 68-56. Another big game, as always, for Jordan Brown. He had 25 points. On the girls' side, we're going to talk a little hoops here. And really the standout game recently was Folsom. The girls get a win over Sac High with Mackenzie Forbes back. She's back from injury, playing well. She was the tournament MVP. A very impressive win for Folsom as they beat the Sac High Girl Dragons. That's impressive. Sac High ranked high in the B rankings, and Folsom moving on their way on up, led by Mackenzie Forbes. So keep an eye out for the Bulldogs this year. That is your Placer Title Company Insiders. Again, Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap up the show, and we're going to look ahead to the rest of this month.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
Welcome back. We are back from another break. It is MaxPreps Sacramento, powered by our good friends at SMUD, Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. All right, we're going to recap now. We asked you our Mikuni Sushi trivia question in the last segment, and that question was, can you name the 5 teams or the 5 schools that have made it to the state championship game in football since 2008? We also wanted you to tell us which team has made the most appearances and which team has had the most championships. So here we go. The 5 schools that have made it to state football championship games from Sacramento are Grant in 2008, Rockland in 2009, and then you had Folsom twice in 2010 and 2014. You had Granite Bay in 2013, and then scattered in between was Del Oro twice, and now they are back again for a 3rd time. So the most appearances, Del Oro with 3. The team with the most wins is Folsom with 2. All right, so those a little recap of some, we had to give you a little bit of state championship flavor for our Mikuni Sushi trivia question. All right, we're going to look ahead now. We talked a little bit about this last week. Packed shows coming up. We're going to have our basketball preview show coming up before the end of this month. We're going to talk to you about teams to look for, teams that we think might make it to a section championship or win it, players to watch for. We're going to break down all the leagues, the teams that we think have a chance to win a league title. So we're going to do that for the boys, and we're going to do that for the girls. We'll also have another show this month where we bring you our shows. We'll say our MVP, our player MVP, and our coach MVP types for each league. We'll do that for every league, every one of the 10 leagues that we cover in Sacramento. And then we're going to put a big wrap on the show at the end of this month, probably be the first few days of January. We're going to bring you our looking back at 2015. We'll talk about top moments, top teams, top players, some feel-good stories, things that we think you should remember from 2015, and then we'll do a brief look ahead to 2016, some of the things that we think could happen. In other words, could Elk Grove win another section championship in baseball? They've certainly have the team to do it. Will we see some of the same teams out at Sleep Train Arena for a section championship? Who's a state contender for basketball? Wrestling, we'll talk a little bit about wrestling, what we think could happen there. So we're going to, again, that final show of the year, we're going to look back at 2015, look ahead to 2016, and then after the new year, we're going to pick up basketball hard because we really want to start it off when the games matter, which is league play. So that's your show. We missed our buddy Joe Davidson, but we will see him for the rest of this month. Folks, have a great week. Take some much needed time off, and we're going to see you next week.